We'll learn how to make a website which has the ability to scroll smoothly. This technique is very useful for creating startup or landing web pages or the so-called single page applications. So let's start coding. Alright, so first we have a folder of images. I have saved different images which we would like to use, and most of them are in the PNG or SVG format, and only the profile pictures are in the JPEG format. Then we have three files: CSS, HTML, and JS for JavaScript. So I advise you to create those three empty files together with the images you would like to have inside of the website. So when ready, we'll start structuring the website. Okay, so we'll be using custom fonts for the heading and here on the title of the website. So let's see how we can get them. We're talking about Open Sans. So first we go to fonts google.com and then we type Open Sans, and this is our font. We can select this font, and here on the selection we just grab the link how we can import it into our index file. Next we go to the index file, which is empty, and just paste the link here. Of course it will be within our HTML and head section. Next we have to do the same for the font awesome. We're using font awesome for those icons here, the profile icons and also the social media icons on the bottom. And so we go to get started section of the fontawesome.com, and then we have directly a link which we can copy and paste into our site. Once we have those files, we can test if they work. Within the body section we can just type one paragraph, and we type hello. We can also style it a little bit. We'll give Open Sans as a font family. This is just a test to see if those files are loading correctly and can be used within our HTML. Now we go to this new folder when we created. It's a working folder with the empty index of HTML file. We are loading it, and we can see that we are using the Open Sans font. We can also remove it, and we see that the font changes. Once we are ready with this, we'll start coding the next sections of the website. This means that we have to have here a link to our internal CSS file. So we'll just type it link rel equals to style sheet and a type of text CSS, and then we point to our CSS file. Once we are ready with this, we can type, for example, here one style in our CSS file, for example background green, and after we save the files we just refresh and see that our CSS file has been loading correctly, so we can start writing styles inside. We'll add a meta tag so the user doesn't have to zoom out or in order to see the images or the text in the phone, and this can be handled automatically by the phone. So we can do this with this tag. We are targeting the mobile devices, and we are telling them just to zoom in and content inside of the website. We'll do a little preloader. We want to achieve this with a simple CSS. So we have one div of class preloader, and then we have another divs inside. We grab this structure. So we are starting to write the structure. We'll make one div and with the ID of page preloader. It will hold the whole screen. On top of it will be displaying our bouncing balls. Inside we'll place another div with an ID of ball pulse, and this div will hold all the 3 balls that will be pulsating. They will be inside of 3 empty divs. So we'll just create the first and paste it 2 times more. Once we have this structure, now let's style the page preloader. So we go to our CSS, and for the page preloader, we'll position it absolute or fixed. We'll give a top and a left coordinates to 0. And also we would like the color of the background to be white. Also we would like the text align so the items to be centered on it, and the width and height to be 100%, which means that we are creating one full screen white canvas on top of everything else. By doing this, for example, if we have in our body, let's say, background green, this page preloader will cover our green background. The page preloader is with the ID, so we can test this out, and we see that the background has been covered by our page preloader. If we remove the background, we can see the body color, so it's functioning. Okay, once we have done this, we will start coding the animation within the balls. So first let's create how one of them will look like. So we'll target the divs inside of the ball pools class. So this is exactly those 3 balls here, and this is the ball pool class. We're targeting all the divs inside, and we'll give them a width and height, so around 15 pixels. And then we'll make them round with border radius of 100%. We'll give them a silver color, and also we would like to display them as a block elements, but next to each other. So it will use the display inline block. Okay, if we save, by now they should appear as a 3 rounded balls here. So let's add animation to them. First, for the animation, we would like them just to scale out. We will just use animation, and we'll call this animation ball pulse with a duration of 0.5 seconds, and we'll repeat it infinitely in time. And now let's create this animation. So we'll be using keyframes, animation, and the name of our animation is ball pulse. And then we'll have to write what will happen on the 0 and in the middle of animation, and then around its end. So at the starting position, we would like to transform the balls, and we would like to scale them to 1, which means that they will start as big balls, and then around 45% we would like them to become like 10% of their size. So we will just type transform and let's say scale to 0.1. If we save and refresh here, we see that they are starting to move. Next thing we would like to do is how we can get different timings of those 3 balls. So the first will be different and then the second and the third. We can specify this easily by targeting the different divs separately. In this div class, this will be the first child, the second and the third. So we'll target them like this, ball pulse div, and we are grabbing the first child, and for the first child we will delay the animation with let's say 36 seconds, animation delay of 36 seconds. If we save and refresh, we see that the first started to behave differently than the second and the third. So we can do the same for the second and the third. we'll just choose different numbers here for the animation delay. Let's say 24 and 12 here. We save, and now we have our preview done. When we would like to remove this preview and show the content of the website, so if we have let's say here it starts the website and it displays hello. If we refresh right now, everything is covered. So far the page preloader is being displayed as a block or a fixed element. If we display it to none, we see that our content here appears. We would like to do this in JavaScript. First, we would like to know whether all those elements are loaded in the page. So we will just catch the document content loaded event from the browser, like this document add event listener, and it's a special event which is called document content loaded. And then when we have it, we'll start our special function. So this function inside will have what we would like to happen when all the content is loaded. Document query selector, and then we will just grab our page preloader, and to its style we'll change it to be equal to none. Okay, if we save and refresh, we see that nothing happens because we haven't included our JavaScript in our file. So we can include it, let's say, near the closing tag of the body. We'll just type script source equals to gs. This is our JavaScript file, and we can type, of course, that it's of text JavaScript, and we will close the script tag. So this way, we say refresh, we can see that the change is happening very fast. So this display property of none is applied very fast, so we have to delay it somehow. We'll be using the set timeout function for this, and so we'll just type set timeout, and inside of this function we'll place our code. We'll run an anonymous function, so this function will be delayed. So inside of this function we'll have our code, and the next parameter we have to specify for how long we would like to delay it. Let's say it will be 1 second. Once we are ready with this code, and we see after 1 second the loading is disappearing, and our website content is appearing, exactly what we would like to achieve. Next, we go to the index file and we'll start working on the header of the website. We'll just type header, and inside we'll have a navigation with a nav tag. We'll start writing our navigation. First off, we would like to have our logo, so we'll give it a ID of top logo of this div here. Inside of this div we'll have one icon for the logo and the title of our website. We'll place everything inside of anchor tag. So let's say that we would like to target a link, and then inside we will type image source equals to our directory of images, and we'll be using logo svg as our logo, then the title of our website. So if we save and refresh, we see our website is appearing. Right now we are not targeting exactly the image, so we'll correct this by just copying the images directory into our working files, and now we have one big image SVG, and then we have our website name displayed below. We'll manage this later with the styling to make it appear better. Here we'll place this inside of one span tag. We'll give it an ID of logo. Okay, when we are ready, it's time to go to the navigation. We would like to have one hidden icon which will be displayed when we are targeting browsers of mobile devices. We'll give it an ID of menu icon. For now, we'll make this menu icon invisible. Our menu will be like this, UL, with the ID of menu. And then inside we'll have different UI tags. Inside of each tag we can have links pointing to different sections of the website. For example, section 3, and some of them will be active. This is done for usability. So let's say this is a theme, and we're closing the tag. So we can create a few more links like this. Section 1, section 2, maybe contacts we'll place here. Okay, let's see our website up to now. We have our menu here, and now it's time to style it a little bit. So for this image we would like to make it appear smaller, and this is inside of our div and A of nav, which has an ID of top logo. So we'll just target the top logo, and then the image tag. Give it a width of 2.5 rems. When we save and refresh, we see, okay, this is our logo. Then we have the heading, and this is our menu. So we would like this text to appear in the middle of this logo. So we'll be using a flex attribute for this, and we'll be targeting the top logo once again. We'll be targeting, actually it's a href, because inside of this A we have those two elements, the image and the span, and we would like to align exactly those two. So we'll type color of white. We'll give a text decoration of none, and also the important thing is to be displayed as a flex. And then we can align the items inside of this href. So we'll use align items center. So the moment we do this, we see that our text is aligned center next to the logo. Although it's now painted with white, we can fix this by correcting the color of the header. So for the header, we will start styling it. First off, we would like to span at 100% of its width. So we will type width 100%, and we'll give some background color. If we refresh, we see our header here with both our menu and a logo here. So the next thing, we would like to have it as a fixed, so it can stay all over the place while we are scrolling. And also we will give a z-index of 1. And this is because we would like it to appear in front of the content which is scrolling behind. So let's style this. We're continuing with the header tag. We'll give a position of fixed. Then we'll fix it to the top. We'll give a z-index in order to appear in front of our other elements. And it will make it a slightly transparent. 0.95% of opacity will give. If we refresh, nothing should be changed so much. If we create some content below the header, let's say we type lorem at the top a few times. We copy this content a few times, and we refresh. We see that our header is staying in front of the content, and when we scroll, it actually stays in place and the content is scrolling downwards. This is the effect we achieved with this position fixed and the setting this of 1. Let's now place those items here up. Okay, for the navigation, we'll display it flex, and again the same rule, we use align items to center. Okay, now they are centered across the whole menu section, and now we'll do the same for the LI tags here. So we'll be targeting nav UL. We'll copy those lines, and we'll remove the dots from the menu. So by list style type to none, we'll be giving this property, and we'll remove the margin and the padding from the items, because the UL is adding such properties. Once we are ready, we can refresh. We see our menu appearing here. Actually, those menus are stacked to each other, so we'll give a little bit of padding to the left of LI tags. So we are targeting nav LI, and we give padding to the left of 2.1 REMs. When we refresh, we have our menu here nicely displayed. Okay, let's continue with the styling of the menu. We would like the active tags to be displayed with a full opacity and to be bold. Okay, we better change the color to white of all the other items to see the changes happening easily. So color white, and the opacity we'll lower it to 0.6. Okay, let's see now the code. So this is our menu, but now everything has an active class here, so we should correct our code here. Only one link should be active. Let's say contacts will be active, just to see the difference. And we see, yeah, the contacts are active. We'll remove this text decoration to underline. Okay, that's better. So we can style our body now. We can do this in the beginning of the CSS. So for the body, we'll just give it margin and padding of 0. We'll give a certain font size of 20 pixels, and the color. We'll increase the line height to 1.75 to have more spacing between the text lines. And for the font family, we'll give Open Sans, our downloaded font. So when we save and refresh, we see our website is starting to appear more nicely. The next thing we would like to do is to start having different sections. So within these sections we can navigate here with those links just locally. So we'll separate this code into sections. We'll place them in one div. So it will be a section with the ID of section 1, and this section will end here. The other section will be with a section of 2 until here, and with the section of 3, let's say until here. Let's not forget to close the div. Maybe we can type some headers here about the sections. Let's say it will be something like h1 tag. We close the h1 tag. Then for the section 2 we'll be having, for example, h3 tag. Okay. Now we save, refresh. We can clearly see our sections where they start and end. So by this we can scroll through the different sections. Now let's make this scroll smooth. We will make it with JavaScript. We will code it here, and then we'll paste this in our JS file. We will grab both all the links within the page as well as the header links, like this. var use equals to document query selector all, and we would like to target the navly a tags. And if we type on the console what's inside of else, we'll see that we have all the 3 links here on the header saved inside of this variable. We'll do the same, but this time we will grab all the tags inside of the whole page and we'll call them links. And inside of the links we'll have actually 5 links. Then we'll loop through all those links. So we can just type for and then var e equals 0, e less than the link's length, and then we'll increase the I counter. And then inside of this loop, let's just show what's inside of our links with the index of I. So we have all the 5 links here, and let's check if they are pointing to our page and our URL, or if they are outgoing somewhere else. For this, let's create another link in our content. For example, a link to, let's say, google.com, and we refresh our code for grabbing our links. Like this, our loop will grab even the Google link, and we don't want when we click on the such link to stay on the page. So we would like to target only the internal links within our smooth scrolling. Inside of our loop, we can check if those links are internal or external. So we'll make a little variable var link equals to the current links index. And then we will check if the link is on the same host name. This means that it's a local link and the URL is not changing. So we can just type for this check location host name. If it equals to the link's host name, only then we would like to print out the link. So if we run this code, we see that we managed to get all the links except the link to the external website. Then we will have to make some other checks on the code. We would like to target links with this sign in front of them. We can do this by using a regular expression, and I'll just paste here the regular expression and then explain it. So this expression actually looks if we have a trailing slash here and removes it, and then use a comparison to check if the links are the same between what is written here and what is in our content. The last check is whether we have this sign in front of our link. So we can do a third check, and we will type link.hash.replace, and we'll replace this sign with nothing. Okay, so the moment this condition is true, we'll show our links. So we see that we are showing only the 3 links which are in the header, because we excluded all the other links which were empty links or links which point to nowhere. Okay, once we are ready with this, we would like the moment we click on those links, some of those links, if they are with a class of active, to remove this class from them, to be easier for users to navigate and see the links in bold. So for this, inside of our loop, instead of displaying the links, we'll make another loop which will loop through all those links which we have saved already in a variable ELS, and clear the active class from them. So let's type for var j equals to 0, j less than the ELS.length. We'll increase the j, and then inside of this loop we would like all the elements of ELS class names to be cleared of active. So we type class list, remove, and what we would like to remove from there, and it's this class active. So far that's the code. When we run this code, we see that we removed the active class from the links, and it's good to run this code actually when we click on certain link here. So we'll add an event listener for click, and it will run this function. The moment we click on a certain link, we'll remove the class active from it. Okay, so we have this code, and when we rerun it and click on some of the links, we see that the active link is no longer contacts, but it should be in the theme. So maybe it's time to add the class list of active to the theme. So we edit the code, and inside of the click function, we want to target this element we clicked on. So we type this class list, this time add and active. When we run this code and click on the links here, we see that it works. All right, so we would like now, in order for our smooth scrolling to happen, to prevent the default actions from the browser. So inside of here, we would like to capture the event, and here we just type e.prevent default. And this was just a maintenance of our code, but it will ensure that our animation of the smooth scrolling will happen nicely. Then we would like to grab the link section which we are scrolling into. So we'll just type var target equals to this hash, and we would like to check if our target length exists. We are doing this check in order to see if such section here actually exists. So not to click on invalid section, and then if it exists, we'll like just to pass it to a function called scroll. So we type window.scroll, and inside of this function we'll fill in its parameters. For now it will accept 3 parameters. The element we would like to scroll for its top position, then the left position. For the left we'll grab 0 as a coordinate, and the behavior will be smooth. So in order to get the coordinates of our target element, we can use the query selector function. So we type document query selector, and inside of this function we pass our target element, and then we would like to grab its top coordinate. So it's just offset top here. Okay, so when we run the function and click somewhere on the document, we see that it starts to scroll smoothly, and we achieve this with this function. So we can grab all the code here and copy and paste into our JavaScript. Of course, not to forget the first few lines about grabbing the elements before. So we'll paste those elements here also. The navigational links and all the links, because they are needed in the function. So when we save and refresh the page, we see that we have a scrolling functionality embedded into our website. Okay, now the scrolling works as expected. We would like, when we have mobile browsers, to hide those links here in the navigation, and to display a menu for navigation. When we click on the menu, it should show our navigation as before, and when we click outside, it should hide it. Also, this action could be triggered by this button here. So let's see how we can code this. First, we'll go to our CSS file, And we'll place a special condition for the browsers which maximally can display the width of 640 pixels. For those browsers, we would like to hide the navigation, so we will just type navul and here display to none. If we save and refresh the code, we will see that the moment we are getting at lower width, the navigation here is hidden. So this is the first part. Then we would like, instead of this navigation, to show our menu icon here. So we are trying to style this link here with the ID of menu icon. So in the CSS, we write ID of menu icon. And first, it will be not shown to the users. So it will be display none. Then we'll set up width and height, because we are going to use an image for the icon. So width of 40 pixels, as well as height. And then for the background, we use our image. We'll use menu icon.png, and we'll center the background. So let's test the code. If we refresh, here is our new code for the icon, and it's displayed to none. If we uncheck the display state, we see our menu. So for now, this is okay. So next, let's trigger this display to block on our mobile devices. So we have to go again for the style sheet for mobile devices and just trigger the display to block on the menu icon. So if we refresh and test, we see that on the mobile devices we have this menu icon, and on the other devices we have the navigation. Also, if we type margin left to auto, we can see that the menu icon is displayed on the right corner. So we use this also in our style sheet for the mobile devices. Okay, for now the navigation is set to display to none. Let's style it up a little bit so it can be shown nicely in mobile screens. For this, we would like to have some padding in the navigation, so we'll change the padding to 20 pixels. Next, we'll give some background color. It will be in the shade of white. We will also put a border of 5 pixels. For now, this is the style sheet of navul, so we can copy those changes and set it up in our CSS. A rule for the navul here. Next, we would like those links to appear with their normal color, because now they are white on white. So here we have to change the color of the href. So we'll just copy this rule here. And in our style sheet, we'll just give it a color of black. So let's refresh. Okay, so far the menu looks like this. And we can continue styling it. For example, we would like our UL to be displayed as flex. And we can also say that the flex information should flow as a column. With this method, we use a Flexbox to display our items one after each other and to save some space. One thing left is just to remove this padding from the LI. So we will just type padding 0. So now we have our menu for the mobile devices. We will copy the style for the nav LI into our style sheet. And the next thing we would like to do is to trigger the displaying of this menu when we click on this icon here. For this, we'll set another CSS class. It's visible. So we'll type is visible. And inside we'll type this display flex and flex flow column. So if we refresh our code, initially the UL is with a display of none, and the moment we will add another class to this UL. So if we type class equals to is visible, we see that the menu appears the way we like it. With this technique, we are just adding one new CSS class, which will change the ordering of the menu items. So let's handle the click of the item. We'll have to handle several situations. First one will be when we click on the item to add this class is visible. When we click it again, we'll remove this class from the UL with the ID of menu. So we'll call it in our console and then transfer the script information into our JS file. So first we would like to get this UL of ID menu, and the next thing we would like to get is the icon which will trigger the showing of the menu. So we'll grab both of the elements. We'll grab first the menu and save it in a variable called menu with the document query selector, and as a parameter we'll pass the ID of menu. Next we would like to grab the button and handle its click event. So we will just type document query selector, and inside we'll pass the menu icon ID. Then we'll add an event listener for the click event. So we type add event listener, and then we type the event we would like to listen to, and the function which will be executed when someone clicks on the menu. So for now we'll just would like to display a hi to the user, and we have to close, of course, the add event listener function here. So we run the function and we click on our menu icon, and we see that the click event has been handled. Now let's write the actual code for showing and hiding the menu. Okay, for this we'll just use the menu variable from above and to its class list. So we'll toggle the class of is visible. So we'll type here is visible. So this will add is visible when this class is not present in the element, and remove it when it's present. Let's run the code and take a look at the elements. For now we have the is visible class, so the function toggle should remove it. So we click on the icon and the class has been removed. When we click again, this class is added. The next thing we would like to do is when the person clicks somewhere else on the screen, again to hide this menu, we'll add an event listener to the window. So whenever the person clicks somewhere else on the window, we'll close this menu. So we'll need to create one new function. We'll call the function check on window. So we'll type function check on window, and we'll grab inside the event we would like to check upon. For now, we'll just type console log hi clicking on window, and we would like this function to be triggered inside of our previous code. So we'll add to the window, like we already specified, window dot again add event listener, and we'll get the click event, and we'll start this function check on window. So whenever someone clicks somewhere on the window, this function check on window will be triggered. Let's run this code now, and whenever we click somewhere, we see that our function has been triggered. This is the code we have so far. So how now to check whether we are on the menu or on the content? When we go back to the elements, we see that all those elements in the menu, they belong to one parent which is called nav. So we can use a function closest in JavaScript, and we can get all those elements who had direct parent of nav. This way we can identify whether the user has been clicking on the menu or on the content. So we'll just use the function and we'll get the source of the event. So we'll type if event target and then this function closest nav, and then we'll trigger this message. So if we have been on the navigation, we'll type clicking on navigation here. All right, we'll refresh the whole page because right now we have a lot of event handlers here attached, and we'll run again our code. When we click somewhere on the navigation, we see clicking on the navigation has been displayed, and when we click somewhere else on the screen, we see that nothing happens. The last thing we would like to do is inside here, instead of saying clicking on navigation, to remove the visibility of the navigation. So we will just type menu class list remove, and the class of is visible. The code says that if we are on the navigation, to remove the class list of visible, but we actually would like to run this code when we are on the content. So we'll just type if we are not on the navigation, just remove this class of visible, and we run the code. So if we click here, the menu appears. If it clicks again on the icon, it closes. When it's appeared and we click somewhere else on the screen, we see that the menu closes automatically. So we copy all the working code and go back to our JavaScript, and we can insert this code here directly. And we would like also the first part of the code to paste it inside our event listener on content loaded after our set timeout function. We are doing this because we would like this functionality of the menu to become active after all the elements are being displayed correctly on our web page. So we save and we can refresh our code here and see if the functionality works. Yeah, we see that everything is okay. One last thing we would like to improve in our code is to remove the event listener when we are away from our menu. In order to do this, we'll just copy this line here, which is the adding of the event listener, and we'll go to the function check on window. The moment we are closing the menu, we'll run the same function to remove the event listener, but just we'll replace the word with remove. So everything else stays the same. So when we save and refresh our code, everything runs correctly, and we efficiently are removing the event listener, so it will not create memory problems for the JavaScript interpreter. So now we have our sections, and before filling the content inside, we would like this space here to be empty, so not to have overlapping content in front of the sections. We can achieve this with adding padding in front of each of the sections. Also, we would like to add padding on the left and the right of each section. So we'll just type section, and inside we'll give a padding of 3 rem units. So when we refresh, we see that this is empty and the website is shown properly. When we are on mobile, we would like to reduce the padding on the left and right. So we can grab this code and enter in the targeting of the mobile website and just enter 1 rem here. And when we refresh, we see that the content is spread nicely on mobile. And of course, we can keep the 3 rem padding for the top, so we'll just type padding top 3 rem and place this padding below this rule so it can be activated. I refresh and see the mobile is looking quite nice, and the desktop version also have a nice padding here. Next we'll continue with our profiles. Okay, now we will create our profile section. So we'll type here profile, and when we refresh on the menu we should say profile and contacts. So let's create the content for the profile. This is section 3. So here inside, this is the title, and we'll have a class of profile here within a div element, and inside of this div element we'll place user profile image. It will also have a class of image. Let's say we'll get it from the images. It will be a woman JPEG. When we save, we should have here our image. Okay, we'll fill in more information about the profile. We'll give it a name, then a job, let's say web designer. Afterwards, this will be our description of the profile. So we'll grab some information from here, and inside within the class of description we'll place all this information. We'll close the div, and so far we should have this structure inside here: profile, web designer, the name, and everything else. Also we will need to have links to our social icons, so we will give a class of FAB and then FA Twitter. This will get our social icons from the front also, and then the same for LinkedIn. And also for the mail we can type mail to web designer at site.com, and we'll give a class of FAR and then FA envelope. These are default classes in the font awesome. We close the link, so our links should be appearing also in the code here. Of course they should be inside of this div. Okay, now we have added all the information we need for the profile, and let's continue styling it. We go to our CSS. So first we would like for the profile to be displayed in a flex mode or Flexbox mode. So we just type display flex, and then we would like the items on this profile to be aligned. So we type align items to center, and we also would like all the items to be one after another, because if we leave it like this, we'll see that the items will align next to each other. So we'll just add this property flex flow like before to column. If we refresh, we see that our profile is nicely centered here on the screen. Next, we would like those items to be centered and to be one next to each other. We can fix this very easily. Just we'll wrap the code here with one div of ID of social, and here we'll close this div. If we refresh, we see that the social icons are also displayed nicely on our screen. So now we'll shape up the profile photo. For this we'll create one round circle like a clipping mask, and it will clip only the regions of the photo who are around the corners. So we go to our CSS and start targeting our image. So it will be like profile.image.img tag, and we'll give a width of 100%. If we save and refresh, we see that the image will go smaller and bigger up to its maximum size, depending on the size of the screen we're browsing. Next, we'll make the corners round. For this, we'll again target the profile image, and this time it will give it a border radius of 50%. And then we'll type overflow of hidden. This way, when we refresh, we see that we created this clipping mask, so all the parts of the image which are not inside of our circle will not be displayed. We did this by this property overflow of hidden. Next, we'll style the title, the description, and the social icons. So for the profile name, we'll want to increase the font size. And we'll type it 1.5 rems. This will give us a nice bigger size here. And for the job, I will just type profile.job, targeting this element on size of 1 rem, and we'll make it italic, font style italic. We'll increase the align height of 1.5 rem, and we'll give it a margin top of 1 rem also. Then for the description, we'll write profile.description, and inside font size 0.96 rem. Then again we'll use one height of 1.5 rems, and we'll give a color of slight gray, and then we'll type a margin top of 1 rem. Let's see now how the information will look like. Okay, it's starting to get nicer and nicer. Now to the social icons. The first thing we would like to do is to set up their default styling. So we go back again in our CSS file and start targeting the FAB and FAR icons within the profile div. So profile FAB and profile FAR, and we would like to set up some color on them. Then the font size of 1.3 rem, and we'll give a padding of 0. When we refresh, we see that by default they will be displayed like this. Afterwards, we would like also the links to have no underline below them, just typing text decoration to none. Alright, so next we would like to change the color of those icons when we hover on them. So for this we're targeting again the profile class, and for this time we will be using for the Twitter FA Twitter, and we would like to target the hover on the icon, and we will change the color to this one, ED4B39. When we save and refresh here, we see that when we point to the Twitter icon, its color changes. So we will set our LinkedIn and the mail icon the same way. So here we type LinkedIn, and for the mail icon is just FA envelope. And now when we refresh here, we see now that our icons have different colors. Alright, let's target the mobile screens, and for the mobile screens we will make some changes to the CSS file. And so we enter the media and query section, and we'll write here the new rules. In the CSS we'll just give a overflow to unset, targeting the profile and the image, and we'll give a overflow to unset. This way, when we refresh the page and scroll, we see that our image changes for the mobile version and for the other devices. Once we finish to the profile, it's time to do the contact information section. For this, for example, we'll get the section number 2 and we'll paste it after the third section. Alright, here it will be contact us, and we'll create our HTML form inside. Type form element, then we close the form element, and inside we'll have email, name, and message. We'll paste everything within paragraphs. So within the first paragraph, we'll type a label, and it will be an email address here. Then our input field, which will be a type of text. So if we save and refresh here, so we see that the contact form is starting to appear. Let's continue writing the same for the name, and we'll write text area here. It will be write your message. This time it will not be input but text area. And for the button of submit, we'll use a button of type submit. Here the text will be sent. And now we have all the 3 elements in our form. Now it's time to style the form. We go to our CSS file, and before the media query here in the general file, for the label we would like to have a font size of 0.9 em, and then to be a little bit transparent, so opacity of 0.8 will give a border color of our elements when they are focused. So we'll just type input, type text when we focus on such element. Then we would like to target when the user is focusing on the text area, and we would like to change the border color. So let's test what's going on now. When we click here, we see that the border is blue. Then again, we would like to target those elements, but with their initial state, not a focused one. So we target the input and text area elements simultaneously. And for the style, we would like to give them a background color, a padding, so they're not stacked together, and a border of 1 pixel with a certain color. When we refresh, we see that they are becoming bigger. We'll give a line height of 1.4 rems. So we'll give a width of 100%. And by now they should be looking very similar. Okay, this is so far our form. It's time to style the send button. The same way, we just copy this rule and type in front button type submit. And inside we'll give a different background color and a white color of the letters. We'll give padding, margin of auto to center the text inside. And that so far is our button. We would like also to remove the border from the button. So we'll type border of 0 pixels. And that's our form. So when we click on the profile, this is our profile sections, and now we also have the contacts us section. So now it's time to go to the footer. In our HTML, we will type footer as HTML5 element, and inside we'll place div with our logo. So it will be div with the ID of bottom logo. And inside we'll place the title of our site. And of course some text we can place next to the logo. Then we can type email to contact with us, div with ID in touch, and we'll type get in touch, a new line, and then email address where the people can write to us. So it will be like mail to. We'll repeat this information here to be shown in front of the users. And the third section we would like to have in our footer is a div for the social media. We'll type class of follow of this div, and then we'll type some links to the most popular accounts in the social media. So I'll just copy and paste pre-made links to them. As you can see, we have a link to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. You can preview those values with your own, and they are also using the icons from Front Awesome. So we save and see how the footer will look like. Okay, these are the three parts, and those are the social media icons below. So now we can style them to appear in three separate columns. We'll do this by using Flexbox styling. So we go to our CSS, and we start writing additional rules. So for the footer, we would like to be displayed as a flex box, and then for all the divs inside of the footer, we would like to have equal size. We will achieve this with the property of flex to 1, which means that all of them will occupy the same space. We save and refresh to see our changes, and now we have three columns with the same width. We can give now padding to the footer, as well as change its background color. First we'll change the color of the footer, then we'll give a background color, we'll give some padding, and let's see now the changes. So this is our full width footer. I will now add additional styles to our social media icons. First to the links which are on the footer. For them, we'll give them additional color, and we'll remove the decoration from them. So this will fix those links here. Now let's style the social media icons. Let's see how we can do this. So for the footer, again targeting all its div elements, and there are 8 tags. When we point our mouse over them, we would like their color to change. Let's refresh and see the changes now. And now we see that we have this H-over effect over the icons. We can further style our icons. For this we are targeting the footer elements, and we would like to target, for example, .fa Facebook, and we will type one border around the element. As you can see, around the Facebook we have a border. We'll need to change a little bit the initial styling of the social media icon. So we are targeting FAB once again inside of the footer, and this time we would like the border radius of 50%. The next thing is to change their color to white, and after we achieve this effect, we would like some padding around. So we will just give some padding of 0.5 rem. We refresh and see our social icons. We can change the color on hover to silver. Then we'll have nice H over our elements. And the next thing we would like to do is to make all the rest of the elements with the same styling. So we can just copy this rule and insert it over here. So if we save and refresh, we see all our elements having this nice circle around them. One more thing left is to style the footer under mobile devices. We will just remove the display flex to display block, and we will achieve this kind of view under mobile devices. So we'll just under the CSS styling of media query, we can just type footer, and here only display of block. When we save this information and refresh our website and focus on our footer, we see that under bigger screens it has 3 columns, and then when we are on the mobile device or tablet, it is displaying its items very nicely.